So I took the tape off. I added some detail and a border with a wax crayon. I could leave this white on the inside completely. Kind of stands out really nicely. I kind of like that. I could decide to paint it in. What's going to happen if I use the same colors from yesterday, green, yellow, and orange, and I paint the inside of this elephant these colors? What's going to happen? Clark?
They will mix up together.
They're going to kind of mix together, and like you're not going to see the elephant that well anymore. So I have like a couple choices. If I'm going to paint the elephant, I got to make it look different than this background so I'm able to see it. If I paint it these same colors, it's going to kind of wash away. So one idea is I can use different colors than this. If I look at the color wheel, I used yellow, orange, and green. What colors would be the opposite of that? How about purple? Look at the color wheel over here. Here's the colors I used. What if I used purple for my elephants? That's very different from what I used, right? Now, what if my colors were like really dark on the outside? Well, then maybe I'll use something really light. What if this was really light? Maybe I'll use something really dark inside of here. I just want to try to make it different. If you want a color that is a little darker, the mixture should be just a little bit of water in here. If you want a lighter color, fill this up most of the way. Your paint sets from yesterday. They are probably still wet from yesterday. So if I choose to use this purple over here, yep, it's still wet from yesterday. If I drop it in here a bunch of times, maybe like 4 or 5 times, this is going to be a nice deep dark purple now. A little bit of water, a lot of pigment. Wash out my brush. If I choose to make it a little bit lighter, just a couple little drops of this in here. It's a nice light purple now. So it's up to me. I could paint just on the outside of this elephant. I could paint on the inside. I could leave it white. White's nice because you can't get it with watercolors unless you have the paper saved, like we did with the tape. So it's up to you. Here's another one that I did, a slightly different technique. But you'll see this one here, I used darker colors on the outside of this. It was a dark red. And on the inside, I used a lighter greenish color inside of it. You'll have 2 brushes today. One brush will be like this. It says size 10 on it. This is for larger areas. If you're using anything larger today, any larger areas like this background, use this brush. And then inside your set, you have this smaller brush. When you're using watercolors, again, you don't have to paint from here. I see a lot of students just like shoveling the pigment out of here. It's really wasteful, and it's not how you're really supposed to use watercolors. So once you make your watercolors, this goes away, and instead we paint from here. This is watercolors. So if I'm trying to paint, I'll use this green I had from outside of this. Make sure your brush is always wet. I see a lot of students trying to paint with a dry brush like this, and they're scratching it all over the place. Your brush should be wet with watercolors. So I'm just going to go around the edge of this elephant right now on the outside of it, staying away from the inside. And don't forget, you can kind of mix colors together too. All right, enough talking by me. Now, you try.